Dear students, I hope you are well at home and studying well. So, I am going to share a topic with you, Class 10th, Subject Physics, Chapter 1, Part C, Uniform Circular Motion. Uniform circular motion. When a particle moves in a circular path, its motion is said to be the uniform circular motion. In such kind of motion, the particle travels equal distance in equal interval of time. That is, the speed of the particle is uniform, but the direction of motion of the particle changes at each point of circular path. So, velocity of the particle is considered as non-uniform. For example, here in the diagram, the body is covering the circular motion or circular path, and suppose its speed is 5 meter per second. That means it is covering 5 meter of distance in 1 second. So we can say the speed of the particle is uniform, but the circular motion is possible due to the change in direction at every point. So we have shown this with arrow also, that every point the direction of the motion is changing, due to which the velocity is changing. So the velocity of the particle is considered as non-uniform. Since the velocity of the particle is non-uniform due to the change in direction at every point, thus the circular motion is considered as an accelerated motion, because acceleration is due to the change in velocity. And here the direction at every moment is changing, due to which we can consider that velocity changes. Due to the change in velocity, we can say the acceleration is there. So we consider circular motion as an accelerated motion. This is important to note, that at any point the direction of motion of a particle is along the tangent drawn at that point of the circular path. As shown in the diagram, at 4 points I have shown the direction of the motion of the body that is drawn as the tangent to the circle. So the direction of motion of particle in a circular path is shown by drawing the tangent at that point. Now, what is the difference between uniform linear and uniform circular motion? Uniform linear motion, if we say, in this, the speed and velocity are constant and acceleration is zero. That is, this kind of motion is an unaccelerated motion. For example, here the person is throwing a ball in one direction. Suppose the speed of the ball is 2 meter per second. So we can say it is traveling 2 meter in 1 second. That means its speed is constant. And since it is moving in a single direction, so we can say the velocity is also constant. And if velocity is constant, then acceleration is zero. So this kind of motion is considered as an unaccelerated motion. On the other hand, we have uniform circular motion, in which the speed is uniform but the velocity is variable or non-uniform. And this velocity is non-uniform due to the change in direction at every point. That is, this kind of motion is considered as an unaccelerated motion. For example, in the diagram, when a body cover circular motion, at every point the direction is changing, due to which velocity changes. As a result, acceleration is there, and this kind of motion is considered as an accelerated motion. What is centripetal force? Centripetal force is the force acting on a body moving in a circular path in a direction towards the center of the circular path. And this centripetal force is only responsible for the circular motion. Circular motion is possible due to the change in direction at every point, which is possible, for which some force is required, and that force is termed as centripetal force. As I say, The circular motion is possible only due to the change in direction, and we know to change the direction some force is required to be applied. So that force is provided in the form of centripetal force, and it always acts towards the center of the path. And this is important to remember. The motion in a circular path is possible only under the influence of centripetal force. So we can say the force required for the circular motion is only the centripetal force. Here are some examples for centripetal force. For example number 1, in an atom, an electron moves around the nucleus in a circular path for which the required centripetal force is obtained from the electrostatic force of attraction on the negatively charged electron by the positively charged nucleus. See in the diagram, this nucleus is containing protons and neutrons. Due to the positive charge on proton, the nucleus is considered as positively charged and electrons are negatively charged. And these electrons are attracted towards the nucleus due to electrostatic force of attraction, and this is towards the center, that means towards the nucleus. And this force of attraction provides the required centripetal force to the electrons, due to which the electrons keep on revolving around the nucleus. That means they are moving in a circular path. Second example is a planet, including the Earth, moves around the Sun in a circular path for which the gravitational force of attraction on the planet by the Sun provides the necessary centripetal force. In the diagram, at the center, Sun is there, and all the planets, as you know, they revolve around the Sun. So here if we take an example of Earth, then Earth is attracted towards the center of the Sun due to gravitational force of attraction, and this gravitational force of attraction provides the required centripetal force, due to which the Earth keeps on revolving around the Sun. Example 3. The moon moves around the Earth in a circular path for which the gravitational force of attraction on the moon by the Earth provides the necessary centripetal force. So here, moon revolves around the Earth again due to the force of attraction, that is the gravitational force of attraction of the Earth by which it attracts the moon towards its center. So this force of gravitation provides the necessary centripetal force, due to which the moon keeps on revolving around the Earth. Example 4. A stone tied at the end of a string is whirled in a circular path for which the tension in the string provides the necessary centripetal force. As in the diagram you are able to see, a person is holding a string which is tied to a stone, and if he moves it in a circular motion, that is due to the tension in the string produced towards the center. So this tension force which is acting towards the center of the path provides the necessary centripetal force, due to which this stone is able to move in a circular path. So from these examples, it is clear that centripetal force is the only force which is required for circular motion. In addition to centripetal force, there is some other force that is termed as centrifugal force. It is the force assumed by an observer moving with the body to be acting on the body in a direction away from the center of the circular path. That means this force is not a real force, it is just observed by the observer. See in the diagram, the center of rotation is shown by this dot, and the body is moving in circular path, and centripetal force is acting towards the center of the path, whereas the centrifugal force is acting away from the center. Some more about centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is of the same magnitude but opposite in direction than the centripetal force. The magnitude of centrifugal force is equal to the magnitude of centripetal force, but its direction is opposite to the centripetal force. For example, the centripetal force is towards the center of the circular path, but centrifugal force is away from the center. Centrifugal force is not the real force because it is just assumed by an observer. It is a fictitious force. This force does not exist but is considered very important to describe the circular motion. Centrifugal force is not the force of reaction of the centripetal force because the action and reaction forces do not act on the same body, but these centripetal and centrifugal force both act on the same body. For example, in the previous diagram on the ball, the centripetal force is acting towards the center, but centrifugal force is acting away from the center but on the ball itself. But if we talk about action and reaction force, then these are on the different bodies. For example, body A is colliding with body B, then the body A is applying force on the body B as an action, and body B apply an equal amount of force on body A as a reaction. So centrifugal and centripetal forces are not the action and reaction forces because they act on the same body, but action and reaction act on the different bodies. To understand centrifugal force, let us take an example of merry-go-round. Here, one end of a string is tied at the center of the merry-go-round and a ball is tied at the other end of the string. See here, at the center of the swing, the string is tied and the other end of the string is tied with the ball. A person A is standing on the platform of merry-go-round while the person M is standing on the ground outside the merry-go-round. As the swing starts, the ball whirls in a circular motion along with the swing, and this happened due to the centripetal force which is provided by the tension in the string towards the center. So as the swing will start, the ball also start to cover a circular motion. For the person M, the ball moves in a circular motion as the tension in the string towards the center provides the centripetal force. But for the person A, the ball appears stationary in front of him. As he observes the two forces to act on the ball, first is the tension, that is the centripetal force towards the center, and second is centrifugal force away from the center. These two forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So the net resultant force on the ball is zero. Hence the ball always remains stationary in front of him. Practically also you can see when the swing is moving in a circular motion, when it is rotating, the ball is covering circular motion and the person who is standing on the platform of merry-go-round, he is also moving along with the ball. So the ball will remain in front of him at an equal distance. So for example here, when the ball is at P, the person is at position A. When the ball is at P dash, the person is at position A dash. When the ball is at P dash, the person is at A dash. So continuously he will be observing that the ball is always in front of him at some distance, and that distance is equal to the length of the string. So this happened due to the two forces, that is centripetal force, that is the tension force towards the center, and centrifugal force away from the center. And since we have discussed that centrifugal force is equal in magnitude to the centripetal force but opposite in direction, so both of them acting on the same ball will cancel each other's effect, due to which the ball suffers the net force as 0, so it will remain stationary in front of the person A. But for the person M, it is not stationary, it is moving in a circular path because the person M is not able to assume the centrifugal force. That is why we say that centrifugal force, it's just a fictitious force, it is not a real force. It is the force assumed by the person who is moving along with the body in the circular path. Centrifugal force will be more clear with this example, with this case. In this case, the string breaks when the position of the ball is at P. Then the force of tension in the string ceases to act. Ceases to act means it stops to act. For example, here this ball is moving in a circular path and suddenly the string breaks at position P. Then the ball will no longer be able to cover the circular motion, so it will be moving in some different path. For person M, the ball appears to move in a straight line along the path PT. That means it will reach P dash, then P double dash, P triple dash, and then T. That means it will be making a tangent to the circular path which was covered by the ball initially. While the person A, who is standing on the merry-go-round, he observes that the ball is still in front of him but moving away from him rapidly towards the position P dash, P double dash, and P triple dash, and so on. For example, see on the diagram, when the ball is at position P, the person is at A. That means the ball is in front of him. When the ball reaches position P dash, the person is at A dash because the person is moving along with the merry-go-round. So again the ball is in front of him. When the ball reaches P dash, the person reaches to A double dash. When the ball is at P double dash, the person is at A double dash. That means again the ball is in front of him. And again when the ball is at P triple dash, the person comes to A triple dash. So in all these cases, the person will be assuming that the ball is still in front of him, but what is the difference? That the ball is moving away from him, that is away from the center. So since the ball is moving away from the center, there must be some other force, that is other than centripetal force, which is capable of taking the ball away from the center. So this force is assumed as centrifugal force. And this force has no meaning for the person standing at position M, because for him the ball is moving in a straight line path. But for the person A, who is standing on the merry-go-round and moving along with the merry-go-round, for him this centrifugal force will be meaningful, due to which the ball is moving away from him. Hence, the person in the rotating frame has to assume the presence of the centrifugal force, or we can say that the centrifugal force is not a real force. It is just a fictitious force, but this force is considered very important to describe a circular motion. Dear students, now is the time for doing some assignment work. So these are the questions which I am leaving for you. Solve these questions, write the answers of these questions in your notebook, and these questions are based on the topics taught. Thank you, students. I hope you all will come to school soon.